Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mad Dash vlog. This will only be about 4 days long because that's when this story is due. So let's get to it. It is the 23rd of January. It is Saturday and already 5 in the evening, and I have not started back up on the story yet, even though it's due on the 27th. So yes, I have been reading the Writing Into the Dark, or is it Writing in the Dark? The horror writing craft book that Laura Wright's channel is doing for the book club. So I am very excited to be reading it, but I need to put it down so I can actually write some horror, because reading is not writing. Even though it helps your writing, it doesn't count as part of your words, so I can't submit I read these chapters as my story, so I need to get onto this. I'm doing Cloak of Bones, so I am expanding it to show the actual mission that the resurrected witch goes on. So, yes, let's get to it. Oh my goodness. So, I'm on a Discord for horror authors, and in the Markets one, they said that the word limit for this anthology was 2,000 words per story. And I just listened to the intro of a podcast for the publisher, and they said the limit was actually 1,000. And my story is 1,990 words. No! So I may need to write another story for February instead of Soot Scamp and save that one for something else. I don't know. Oh my gosh. So sad. But I gotta get onto my Cloak of Bones, but I don't know if I can stretch it far enough because she's already on her mission and I'm only at 1,600 words and it needs to be like 5,000 words, so I need to look that up and double check the word count requirements. So I will do that now. Okay, so the one for If I Die Before I Wake, Tales of the Otherworldly and Undead, the Better Off Dead series volume 5, is a 5 to 10,000 word count. So, oofda. Yeah. Well, January 27th, 2021. Authors will be notified by March 15th if their story was selected. So, I'm running out of time, so I gotta figure out, because my Cloak of Bones story was originally a flash fiction, so it was just under 1,000. And then I really liked the story, but people were suggesting to expound on it, because the mission that the witch goes on was just stated she went on a mission. Well, was going to go on a mission, and this would be the outcome. So now I'm doing the mission, but I don't know if I want to stretch the mission out by 3,000 words. So I could, but it's a horror and not an action-adventure kind of story, so I'm not sure what exactly the horror genre entails and what makes it a horror and not a subgenre of, like, horror is the subgenre of the book, but an actual horror book, if it's that long. So, it wants undead, which my witch is undead, so it definitely fits. Maybe I just need to brainstorm. I think I just need to brainstorm what can happen. So, that's what I'll do. tired, everybody. I know this looks horrible, but it's after midnight, so it's Sunday morning, and I'm laying in bed trying to sleep, and I'm thinking about my soot scamp story that may not work now because it's 900 words over. So I was looking up contests that I could enter it into instead, or maybe just submit the first half. And then I've been laying here thinking about my Cloak of Bones story, and I've had an epiphany, and I think I've figured out how to do the blood wards. So that's good. So that finally came. Things usually come when I'm laying trying to sleep. So had a little bit of a breakthrough, and I found a competition where you can enter in original ghost stories. The deadline is the 31st of this month, so I think I'm going to work on Cloak of Bones for the next couple days, submit that, and then do a ghost story, just for funsies. 250 to 1,000 words for that one, so short. I should be able to crank it out in a day once I get some inspiration. So it's time to sleep and get that inspiration. It's Sunday morning, like 8:30 in the morning. I actually woke up naturally this way today, so hooray! I didn't have to crawl myself out of bed just trying to wake up, so that was nice. But I was Writing in the Dark last night until about 2 in the morning. So I read 5 through 8. I'm on chapter 9 now, and it's the horror hero's journey. So I think this is an important thing to read, so I'm going to be reading, and then go back to brainstorming more about Cloak of Bones. So I've got some tools in my arsenal now that I've read about how to make things not as cliche and how to make things more you. So hopefully this will help with my short story, and make it unique and more appealing to the editor to pick it up. So let's go. Why, hello. It is Monday night. So Sunday was my day of rest, so I didn't do any writing, but I did read a lot of the craft book, Writing in the Dark by Tim Wagner. I am halfway through it now. It's been really good. And it is now 6:45 at night. I'm cooking dinner and diving into Cloak of Bones because it would be due Wednesday, so I have tonight and tomorrow night and Wednesday morning. So this is going to be a mad dash. So I'm at 1,601 words, and I have an idea of how the blood wards work now, and I've just got to figure out exactly what she's going to encounter on this mission that is going to set her back and make it take long enough to meet the word count, and then bring the kid and everything happen by the end. So, and then wrap it up with a bow. So I don't think there needs to be too many setbacks in the middle, because the ending will be it'll be quite emotional. So there's going to be some back and forth between a few characters and some magic going on. So I'm really excited. So yeah, I think I'm going to write a simple middle and get to the end, and then see what the word count is, and then go back and see how much is needed to be added to the middle to make it as intriguing as possible, so it's not oh, that was way too easy, and also get to the word count. So let's do it. I'm at 1986 words, and it's 9:30. I don't know if I can make this deadline, because I need to... So this may be a fail vlog, but I think I'm gonna keep trying. Even if I don't submit it in time, I still want to finish the story and get it fleshed out, because I do want it to be a short story. So gonna keep going. We'll see. Alright. It's now 9:31. It's a couple minutes later, and I think I'm gonna put a pin in Cloak of Bones and go on to these other stories for some writing competitions that are due on the 31st. So one of them, the Screw Turns Flash Fiction competition, is due on the 31st, and it's 250 to 1,000 words. I think I'm going to try and use my Witch's Purge story for that one. And so I'm going to spend tonight doctoring that up, going through, making sure everything is good, and submit it. So, yeah. So I'll work on that one. And then there's another one for Flash Fiction Factory Flash Fiction. So max 1,000 words on any theme. Our judge is looking for freshness, originality, and strongly drawn characters. So that one also I can work on one that I've already written and haven't put forward yet anywhere, or put live on my blog or here. So I think I'm gonna go for those instead because they're much shorter, and I already have stuff that I've written that I can flesh out and work on and make sure that they are gonna pass the bar. So yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna put a pin in Cloak of Bones for now. It's Tuesday morning, so last night I did some brainstorming on my ghost story, and I've decided to go with a dark fairy godmother. So she stalks the child to learn their wants and desires. She grants wishes at a price. She shows up in photos behind the kid like a shadowy figure. The family moves to get away, but it doesn't work because as soon as the girl wants to make a wish, the godmother's there. So I got over 600 words into it last night. The max is 1,000, and I liked the story, but it was way too distant of a viewpoint. So I'm doing a third person, but it needs to be way more limited. So I'm going to be doing a rewrite today, probably during my lunch break and after work. So I did a kind of pop-up live write-in last night, 10:30 to midnight, after Austin K's. So I did get words in. So yeah, I just laid in bed last night trying to think why I didn't like this story as much as I should, because I really like the premise, but yeah, it's just way too distant of a point of view right now. It needs to be way more limited. So that's what I need to work on after work. So I'll catch up with you after. Good evening. It has been snowing all day long, but it is after work now, and I actually did a little bit of writing during my lunch break. So my fairy godmother story is now being told in first person and a lot more intimate with the thoughts and feelings of the girl being stalked by the fairy godmother and trying to be coerced into wishing for something. So I just gotta figure out what the fairy godmother wants in exchange for wishes and what she would do with what she gets in exchange. So yes, gotta figure that out, and I'm excited to write. Alright, so I am on Tessa's live stream, and Kitty Writes is amazing. So I have my dark fairy godmother, who's going to be kind of like a version of a tooth fairy, where she does wishes in exchange for bones. So Kitty Writes has some folklore from her grandmother, or is it great-grandmother? Great-grandmother, about how teeth were taken and given to children that were ready for the teeth to grow in. So the good teeth were taken for children to like recycle the teeth and grow them in, and the bad teeth were taken and ground into fairy dust. And so that's what fairy dust is. It's shards of teeth. So lovely, lovely. I'm trying to figure out the exchange rate of wishes to bones. So I'm having her bring her rabbit back to life because she's a very hardworking little girl and knows nothing is for free. And like she has to earn her teddy bears from her mother by pulling weeds and stuff like that. And so she doesn't want to take up this wish. But her rabbit died. So she asked the dark fairy godmother to resurrect her rabbit for her. And so I'm trying to figure out what the exchange rate would be. So this is difficult. Alright, so Kitty Writes is amazing and had some good ideas on other bones that could be taken instead of a rib or a finger bone. And so I'm going with an ear bone. So her life is going to be off balance because of the supernatural and physically off balance as well. So that's fun. I wrote some of it up. So I'll just read a couple paragraphs because I can. I yelled in surprise as her hand rushed towards the side of my head. I felt a tingling, like something was inside my ear, something twisting, cracking, splintering. It felt like knives were stabbing deep inside, and the audible snap harmonized with my agonized scream. Black spots filled my vision and I fell to the floor. Chuckles drew my gaze and I saw what looked like a small white bone in the fairy's hand, bloodless but broken and jagged at the end. She popped it into her mouth and began to crunch it. So, I'm having fun, and it's definitely horror, so be careful what you wish for. There's always a price. I will keep going. Why, hello, it's Wednesday morning. I got up at about 8:30, and I had laid in bed last night thinking about my fairy godmother story, and I had a brainwave on how to end it, and so this morning I ended it, and I love it. And so I have sent it off to one of my sisters, so hopefully she'll get to it eventually. It's due in 4 days, so time to get beta readers and edits. Woo! Wednesday night is after work and during Charlie's live stream, so I just got feedback from Maggie from MM Ward, so she had a great suggestion, so I added one more sentence in there just to have more of a visceral, emotional reaction to what had happened, so it has more of an impact on her life. So yes, that was fun. Still looking for more beta readers. I just joined a fantasy and science fiction Toronto writers group on Discord, so we'll see if there are any takers there, because it's a fairy godmother, so there's some fantastical fantasy elements to it. So, yes. I am going to have my live write-in in about 45 minutes, so I'm excited. A couple books came in the mail! So one is Body Trauma, a writer's guide to wounds and injuries. So this should help with the body horror and the physical pain and the horror. So that one came. Coming in the weekend will be my emotional trauma book. So yes. And then also Paperbacks from Hell. This has been on my wish list for months. So it is the twisted stories of 70s and 80s horror fiction. It has a bunch of the covers of the pulp horror fiction novels, and oh my gosh, so cool. And it has excerpts, and it's going to be like my primer for what's already been done in horror, and I can use the covers as inspiration to spark new ideas for new horror short stories, and maybe even a novel, who knows. So I'm really stoked. I heard about this Paperbacks from Hell from In Praise of Shadows from that channel. He does some amazing video essays, and a lot of it is on horror, comic books, and the history of witches, and the history of horror. He just did one on Return to Oz, and so just an excellent channel. So I'm excited to read it. And I'm about 3/4 of the way done through Writing in the Dark, so I'm going to keep reading that while I wait for the live write-in. The live write-in went really well. It was so fun. I got beta reader feedback, incorporated it, and we wrote for a prompt that I posted, which was really fun. We had some great stories about screams in a forest. There's a rabbit on my foot. He's so cute. Yeah. So, yes, that was great. And now it is time to calm down so I can sleep. So I'm going to be reading more Writing in the Dark. Hopefully finish it by Friday. So, yes, I will see you guys later. It is Thursday night. I am off work. And Discord is tweeting at me. So, I have edited in beta reader feedback this morning on my Fairy Godmother story. And I reworked Soot Scamp into Soot Maven. So that should be ready to go for another round of beta readers. And then I am thinking I'm going to submit a story for the Habitat anthology. So they want people to write about sustainable habitats. And so they say you can go for the fantastical, you can go for the sci-fi, you can go for the folklore, you can go for whatever. So they mention Baba Yaga's house in the list of examples. And I love Baba Yaga. Like, that folklore is awesome. So I was thinking Baba Yaga's house, but that's one of the examples they give. So I don't want to use an example they give, because somebody else might do it, because it's like, oh yes, I can do that. So I want to do something unique. So I am thinking Frankenstein's Laboratory. So the original Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is in the common domain now, but I don't know if I want to go with that or just make it a mad scientist. This is not a horror anthology, so I'm thinking of going more satire in tone, like The Onion. So, how do you recycle? Well, we recycle the dead bodies by putting them together and reanimating them, you know. Reanimate, recycle life, bring it back. We're off the grid, you know. We use electricity with keys on kites, so sustainable power. So I think I'm gonna go with that. We'll see. It's not due until February 28th, so that's what I'm going to be experimenting with and exploring tonight. Alright, here's the first intro of my first draft for this habitat thing. So, Dr. Frankenstein, how did you come up with this ingenious laboratory design? It's so functional it has no carbon footprint, the reporter asked. Dr. Frankenstein, his hair perfectly coiffed, folded his arms in his lap, the sleeves of the starched lab coat crisp and razor sharp at the folds. Well, it was an ungodly undertaking, I'll tell you that. Okay. It is Friday. It is almost midnight, but it was a very productive day. Some more books came. So let me move all of my stuff to get to the new stuff. So I now have the Emotion Thesaurus. The rabbit keeps digging. But yes, the Emotion Thesaurus, which I am looking up terror and tormented. So I'm using that a little bit already. The book Writing for Emotional Impact, Advanced Dramatic Techniques to Interact, Enrage, and Fascinate the Reader from Beginning to End by Carl Iglesias came. So I'm really excited for that one. As well as Where Nightmares Come From. So this was recommended by Writing in the Dark by that author. So I've added it to the list. And I found more anthologies. And so I put a little pin in my Frankenstein interview one and started a new one for short stories So this one is for the first line, and it's where you have a first line. Everybody's story starts with the same first line. And this one is, Daryl slides 3/4 into the vending machine and weighs his options. It's due on February 1st, so this is a really quick turnaround. But I already have 1,275 words into it just from tonight. And I am thinking about the ending. I have 2 different options in mind, so I'm going to sleep on it and go over it tomorrow, and then just throw my hat in the ring and submit it. So we'll see. But I also submitted 2 poems to a place, I think it's in Ireland, for consideration. So hopefully I'll hear back from them soon. They're both horror poems. I've submitted one to another anthology before, but it got rejected. That one's The Kettle's Lament, so the tea kettle that screams with the voices of the dead. And the other one is Within the Coffin, so it's about a knocking that comes from a buried coffin in a small town. So that's fun. Hopefully at least one of them will get taken. So going back to my Frankenstein interview one, I think I'm having a fun time. I think I've discovered my voice for Dr. Frankenstein, but I don't know the voice for the monster, for Adam. So this needs to be based on the book, because that's in the common domain and not the movie. But I never finished the book. Like, I have it, I got partway through, and just, it wasn't written in a way that was very engaging for me. It's all epistolary, so it's letters, but yeah, I'm having some troubles, so I don't know if I should just make up my own voice for the monster or try and struggle through it and read it, because these ones aren't due for a little while. So yeah. And then my fairy godmother one that's due this weekend, I'm gonna go over it with my sister hopefully tomorrow. And then my Soot Maven one is due anytime in February, so it's pretty good. I need to go back through and add a little bit more emotion. So it's shorter now. It's just over 700 words, and it can go up to 1,000. So I can add more emotional impact into it now. Because the first version had a lot of emotional impact, but it was 1,900 words. So yeah, I had to chop it down to the first scene and just expand the first scene. So need more emotion. But yeah, so a rundown of all of my current stories in the work is due on the 31st is Fairy Godmother, and then will be this one that I'm calling Deadline. So the first line story about the quarters in the vending machine, I'm calling Deadline. And then the next one will be, I can't remember. It's either Dr. Frankenstein or Soot Maven. One of those two. But yes, I have a lot to get through this weekend, so I shall be up bright and early tomorrow, and I will continue this vlog until I have submitted Fairy Godmother. So that's the goal. So yay, little submissions! Good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday. It is 2:15 in the afternoon. I just got off of the call with the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Writers of Toronto Discord and got some critique for my work, and so I'm really excited to integrate it. I'm rewriting the little middle section so it's less exposition-y and a little bit more creepy, and so that's what I'm up to. And then the Dark Fantasy Writers of Toronto are meeting in 45 minutes, so hopefully I can get a new draft of this done in 45 minutes and ready to go to have more feedback, so we'll see. It's 7:30 Saturday night, and I just submitted Fairy Godmother to the Screw Turn Flash Fiction competition. So it is in, and it says that they publish on the 14th of February, so it should be a fast turnaround to figure out whether or not I'm in or not, so that'll be nice. But yes, so that's in, and next I need to finish the one due on the 1st of February. So my first line with the quarters in the vending machine. So my CG artist who brings a monster to life in the film and in reality. So I guess it's on to that one now. Alright, it is midnight, so it is technically Sunday now, so I am going to go to sleep. I have not touched my CG artist short story that's due on the 1st, on Monday. So once I get up in the morning, I will mad dash, finish that sucker, and hopefully have at least one person read it, and then send it off just to throw my hat in the ring. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's not slapshod, but I feel like it's kind of competent because I'm pulling from experience from working this job, my day job, back at the studio. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the ending exactly, which is why I'm not writing tonight, because instead I finished reading Writing in the Dark, and I filmed, edited, exported, watched it again, and uploaded and posted my book review of it. So that's what I did tonight. So it is time for sleep and hopefully figuring out how on earth I'm ending this story. So yes, good night. Okay, it's Sunday morning and I finally had an epiphany on how I actually want to end this CG artist brings to life a monster. So I have been joining in watching some writing sprints, and I am writing my ending. So that's exciting because it is due tomorrow. So cutting it really close. But I am showing the ending of the movie that he's working on. So you can see shot by shot the ending of the film where the monster takes over the family man and the family man becomes the monster. So you can see one ending happening, and the main character realizes as it's happening, like, oh no, this is what's happening to me with this monster right now. And so now he can twist and get to a different ending. So you can see the trajectory of the ending and then see the twist. So I'm really excited to write it. This definitely came from Writing in the Dark and the 8 different horror endings that he normally sees. So this is definitely a win for that book, helping me come up with this ending. So hooray! And I will hopefully see you guys once it's finished. It's 7:50 Sunday night. I think I finished the story. I changed up the ending again. I just keep changing the ending. So it's written and I've gone through and edited it. I was a little bit leery about the emotional impact of the story. Like it seemed like the character flip-flopped his decision too fast. So I went through and I tweaked it a little bit, added more transitional thoughts for explaining his thought process of going from I miss my family to I gotta get this job done to the final outcome. So I think it's good now. So my mother is being gracious and reading it tonight because it's due tomorrow. So hopefully I can get this feedback incorporated tonight or in the morning. It's only 8 pages double spaced. It's 2,045 words. So not that bad, but yeah, mad dash to the finish line. So hopefully we'll see what happens pretty soon because deadline's tomorrow. It's 8:20 and I have submitted the story. It's still Sunday night. So deadline is now submitted to First Line, the anthology series. So I'm excited. Yes. So I submitted a story yesterday and I submitted a story today. So this has been a mad dash for January. Yeah, Orla Hart's anthology series feels like forever ago now. So I'm gonna cut off the vlog here. It's been a successful January. I got the Orla Hart story up and going. I got 3 chunks of my 100 horror prompts that I created up on my blog. I have submitted Fairy Godmother and I have submitted Deadline. And I submitted 2 poems as well for consideration. So, good month. And now it is time to beta read for somebody else's short story. So, I'll see you guys all in February. Bye!